Guppy, how do you feel about loot boxes? I feel the same way. Money, money, money! So, Gaijin is no stranger to how they make money, and as a company, I'm sure that they always need more money, and me, and more money. But, you know, there have been times, and I've talked about this in my other videos, where my respect for their decisions has been lacking. I find your lack of integrity disturbing. Well, but what can I do, right? I'm a single guy. I'm just a man. But as I told my brother a while back, you know, this might be the first time that I quit a game for political reasons. I don't know if I would go so far as to stop playing War Thunder over this, but we shall see what their response will be. Let's get to the point. As you may have already heard, Gaijin has introduced a true loot box system into the game, wherein not only can you receive custom camouflages, user-generated camos, which I think is a fantastic addition to the game. This is not the best way to implement it. I'd like to see a more free market system, but I see where they're going with this, where you sort of mine the resources from the game and then are able to trade those on an open market. But when it comes to those three magic words, darling, those three magic words changed everything. Rare, premium, vehicles. Oh, are you feeling it? Sorry, I'll stop being dramatic. It's time for a serious discussion. I know, first time ever. There's a first time for everything on toshiothunder channel. But as you watch me ground pound with a P47, are you triggered? Come on, it's mid-match. Most of the enemy team's gone, and I don't feel like chasing them down. So here I am. Anyway, loot boxes in War Thunder. You get the crates in the game, or you buy them from other players. You open the crate, and what could be inside? Camos, I'm okay with. Premium vehicles? Oh, okay, tell me more. What kind of premium vehicles? How about any premium vehicle? Can you get the mouse? I don't know. But I know you can get the KV-220, arguably the most overpowered tank in the game, and that's not a hard argument to make. From the front, practically indestructible, but you can go through the gun mantlet, yeah, and go straight into the cannon breach. You still haven't destroyed the tank. And in an arcade match, they can still fire. So, issues, right? When the most powerful, most coveted vehicles are available in one place and one place only, a random loot box. Because you can't get the KV-220 any other way now. If you already have it, you have it. You ground one of the most toxic events to unlock one of the most toxic vehicles in game. Congratulations. So do you get my point? People will dive on this thing, and they will harvest vehicles that have been thankfully locked behind a wall of inaccessibility, which, for better or worse, is there. In the case of KV-220, for better. I wish they would just up the BR on that thing to like 6.3, but that's neither here nor there. So let's get to the point. Loot boxes are in the game. How do we deal with this? And honestly, this is not going to be the best analysis of what the loot boxes are. Look up Mike Goes Boom or the European Canadian. They've done some good videos on that. I'm sure other people have as well, but I've watched MGB's and TEC's videos, and they're good. Use the old Google to find them, or YouTube. I'm too lazy to put a link. Let's carry on. So loot boxes are in the game. where do we go from here? Now, Gaijin, they've clearly put a certain amount of thought into this. Probably not enough, but this is something that, you know, they've dedicated enough to it to have it in game now. Surprise. So, where do we go from here? I'm just not willing to accept event vehicles, rare event vehicles being in a vending machine, in a gambling, what's it called, a slot machine, right? Because it looks too much like a jackpot, and that can cause some really bad gambling-itis, a swelling of the gambicular gland in the adult human, or even in children. Children can be gambling for these things. I mean, do you understand what that means? It's not a good thing. People close to me have gambling problems, and it destroys their credibility. Anyway, so gambling in a game that's accessible to kids, not okay. But moving on, you're flooding the market now with the words, Toshio. It's only down to how much money you're willing to spend, and you're guaranteed the vehicle you want more than anything else. Is that a sad state of affairs? Does that sound a little bit like prostitution? The Bible says that a prostitute reduces a man to a piece of bread. and I'm not trying to get theological here on you, but that is what you do when you say, whatever you want, you can have it for the right price. Just give me some of that sweet bread, right? And what it does is it destroys something special, something beautiful, right? And I'm not talking about the husband-wife relationship here. I'm talking about rare premium vehicles. The heart's desire of people who have been playing this game for years. Man, I can't wait until the KV220 is available again in one of the summer events. Wouldn't that be awesome? I know it's an OP piece of junk, but you know what? I want to earn it. I want that to be in my lineup. Not because I spent, $800 rolling that random chance wheel. But you say, no, you can't just buy all the loot boxes you want, because people have to earn them in game, and then they sell them on the market. But that's the catch. All you have to do is buy them from somebody else, and then you're rolling that wheel again. You're spinning that slot machine, looking for a jackpot. Sorry if I seem a little bit confuzzled here. It's hard for me to talk serious. But do you get what I'm going on about? And I should wrap this up. What's the change I want to see in this system? Because I like the idea of getting, like user camos and even having premium vehicles as like your jackpot is okay. I'm willing to accept that. We'll put it that way. I don't like it, but I'm willing to accept it if it doesn't include rare vehicles. So, let's say that your jackpot is a rank 4 Magach, or a rank 5, rank 5 Magach, or some high rank premium that you can already buy in game. Why do I want it to be that? Because that's already been tested by Gaijin, and people don't care about the 300 eagles you can pay for a random crate now that has a chance to drop an M46 or something, a Tiger Patton or a Tiger 2 Slaw, something like that. Well, go ahead and implement that. You've already tested that. People don't go nuts for that. And why does that work? Why do people not go jackpot crazy over these Tier 4, you could even include Tier 5 premiums that are already available directly from Gaijin for a set amount of money? Well, who's going to gamble on a 0.1% chance with $3 when they could just have a guarantee for $50, for $40, for $35. You see what I mean? So having an open player market is okay, and having random chance to get things you can already buy in the game is okay, because you have a limit to how much people will commit to gambling with. You have a rational limit, and there's going to be people that are still, you know, gamble files, or they're jackpot crazy, and they're still going to do this, but it's not going to encourage people to, and that's the problem. This system that's currently in the game of crates that can be unlocked, that have a chance to give you the most sought after, otherwise unavailable vehicles, encourages people to just go crazy with the spending. And it's not something that's sustainable. It's not something that builds a healthy community within the game. From a business standpoint, it makes them look desperate, like they're giving up on the game of War Thunder and trying to cash grab as much as they can. And I'm convinced that's not what they wanted to go for. So the current implementation of we'll call them loot boxes, because that's what we all know they are. It's a failure from a community perspective. It's harmful to the community. It is not liked by the community, as far as I can tell from the reaction to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 and EA's shenanigans. We don't like this kind of stuff in our games, so we don't like it. It's not good for the health of the community. It's not good for Gaijin as a company in the long term. It's going to be a huge cash windfall in the short term. But after the introduction of the Abrams and people buying into that, I spent $50 on Magach. Gaijin has already received a huge cash windfall. I think that this is unfortunate timing on their part. It was a step too far. It was not well considered. I think they've seen this work for other companies, and they don't know that this is a bubble and it's past its time. So be kind to Gaijin here. Sometimes they just don't make the connection the way that they should, with what effect this is actually going to have on the game, what effect this is actually going to have on the community. But I think it's time to be firm. It's time for the community, the player base, to communicate to Gaijin that this is not okay, and that we're not willing to accept things the way they are. I suppose now it's time for a discussion about what is acceptable, because there's some interesting things that can be brought to the game by this community market system, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But from a business standpoint and from a community standpoint, even a gameplay standpoint, it undermines principles that have worked for Gaijin for a long time, and it's clearly unsustainable and ill-advisable, potentially morally reprehensible. Anyway, guys, sorry for all those big words. We'll get back to making obscure media references and bad puns in the next video. Catch you guys in the next one. Oh, and if anybody can tell me, like, how can the community really get in touch with Gaijin that this is not okay? That's something I'd like to know. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, and I guess if you want to watch the rest of this P47 gameplay, I'll just leave the video going and have some music. It's not the best match, but I like it. Alright, bye-bye.
remaining plans for the mouse. Where that went